What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. We're excited to have you here. Thanks for watching for this portion of the live stream. What you'll see, obviously, is now that we have everything set up with Podbean, our new host for everything, what's going to happen is everything is going to be moving over to them. So if you're like, what happened? You know, we were looking for it on Anchor and iTunes and all that shit. Everything's been transferred over, so it will take couple days to get everything going. So as far as that goes, that's where we are right now. We appreciate you guys being awesome. You know what I mean? Thank you guys for being here. Getting everything taken care of means a lot to us. You know, obviously we want to introduce new co-hosts for the show. One of a couple that we're going to be having here. Just kind of help me keep everything together and in a row here. Mr. Jimmer, brother, lover, motherfucker. And then today's guest is going to be Mr. Kurtis, big movie lover, movie goer, and we're excited to invite him on the show. How you doing, Kurtis?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing awesome, thanks. Appreciate you. So today's going to be a bit bigger of a show than what we normally do. We have a lot to cover, man. Last week we were dealing with just life, you know what I mean? Everything, how everything's gone with COVID. Where everyone's sitting now, there's so much we need to cover. So I appreciate you being here to kind of play catch up with us. You know what I mean? It's almost like it was a different show last week.
Yeah, I definitely did feel like that, but hey, we're all happy to be here, and we're happy to learn and talk about all these movies and what everyone's opinion is on them.
Absolutely, as we traditionally do, as you guys know. Because it is your first time on the show, Jimmy, as well as Kurtis, want to make sure that you guys are introduced a little bit, make sure I understand a little bit more about you guys, obviously. I want to talk a little bit about gaming with you, Kurtis. Between the two, if you had to pick, would you choose graphics or would you choose content, and why?
Well, it really depends on the game, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of games where, in my opinion, both are very important. But because if you have great graphics but you don't have any good content, then your game's just going to be dead. But if you have the content but crappy graphics, you know, it's sort of a dance that they have to play with each other. I mean, honestly, you really need both of them to be amazing in order to do stuff. But I mean, if you had to do one over the other, I personally would prefer content. Just because I feel like the story of everything is better. I mean, like, if you look at some of these older games, I mean, the games themselves, they had great stories, but a lot of people don't like to play them as much anymore just because of how much crappier the graphics are compared to the games that are out on the market right now.
Yeah, well, you have these games like Call of Duty, you know, they come out with a new game every year or two. And I don't want to say it's recycled gameplay because I'm not about ready to get, you know, freaking staked to the ground and beat to death, but you know, it feels that way. You got great graphics, but no story, you know? And then you have these other games that have just amazing storyline, amazing content, and then the graphics are just shit. Have you had to deal with that, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the main reason why there's still so many retro gamers out there, why you're seeing all these OG video games going for double, triple, quadruple the price they originally paid when the game is a 4 gigabyte game. You know, can you think of any current game that's out, that's popular, it's 4 gigabytes? Not very many, you know? No. So I think when it comes down to it, they are trying to up more of the graphics, but again, if you don't have good writers, good content, you know, like you know, Kurtis was saying, that they're going to be written off.
Yeah.
You know?
I hate to get wrestling involved. But I mean, Monday Night Raw for the WWE, they have so much talent on that roster, but they can't come up with decent storylines. I mean, some of the stuff they've been doing is okay, but compared to SmackDown has a great roster, but it's the story and the content that just makes it all the difference. So I agree with your Curtis's hybrid answer, you know, but I mean, a story is what you fall in love with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think one area where we can sort of see this that's more recent is I think Black Ops 4 is honestly a good area where we can say it. Black Ops 4 was the first Call of Duty that ever has come out without a campaign, and it's actually one of the lower selling Call of Duties that ever came out. And I think that's partially because they didn't spend the time to put into that campaign. That's some things that when people are paying, $60 or more for a game, that's something that they are looking for in it, especially when you're part of a shooter franchise like that.
When was the last time you paid $60 for a game?
Yesterday.
What game did you buy?
Civilization 6.
Isn't it on sale on Steam?
It is, but I bought it still is above 60.
Okay.
What I hate is even buying a game, even if it's not, $60. Let's say I do get it on one of the sales, but you buy it and you just find out it's garbage, and so so you don't feel like you just threw away your money. You have to like almost play the game to try to get your money out of it.
Well, that's why so many people are moving to PC, is because with Steam, you have a couple hours of gameplay, and if the game's absolute shit, Cyberpunk, we're talking to you!
Yeah, you can just return it and get your money back.
Absolutely.
And I think that's also part of the area that, consoles, digital games are getting a bit more popular too, because, Xbox and them, I mean, they aren't as easy as Steam with their return policies, but at least, if you do talk to them, they do sometimes come through and make some sort of deal or give you some sort of credit or something like that. And I think that's, also why some people are so attracted to disc games. Because, if you get a disc game on one of the older consoles and you decide you don't like it, you can always just sell the game on like a Facebook Marketplace or GameStop or something like that and at least recuperate some of your loss.
I'd like to return this vintage, unopened Game Boy Advance with the original Pokemon games all unopened to GameStop.
Yeah, I think
Here, have a quarter.
I think I put a half hour into Halo ODST before I was like, I can't do this, but like you were saying, I bought disc because digital wasn't even a thing back then. I was able to get back most of my money.
Yeah.
What was the first game you ever played, Kurtis? I know there's a bit of an age gap, not too much.
To be honest, it was the original Tetris on a Game Boy.
Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy XP, 3DS.
It was I don't even remember. It was my grandmother's Game Boy. I don't even remember. It was an old one because it had the cartridge that you actually had to like plug into the Game Boy itself, and it was pretty old.
Was it like a hand? Was it shaped like a PSP, or was it shaped more like an actual brick phone?
More like a PSP than a brick phone.
Okay, so that was probably a Game Boy Advance. Which was a great system, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I hated that my batteries would only last me 6 hours, but at the same time,
yeah, you learned to change the battery fast, to be honest.
I think you and me gaming was the same thing. What was your first game?
My first game, I was 4 years old, and it was Halo.
Oh my god, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, because I was on the Genesis with Dad playing like Sonic and Commandos and shit. Wow, what a great way to...
Halo was definitely pretty low on me. It was probably my second game, I would say, maybe even my third. But it was definitely low there on the original Xbox.
And even now, it's one of the all-time greats. For when it came out... Well, and they remastered it. They remastered Halo 2 as well.
Yeah.
But even then, at the time and the release of Halo 1 in the early 2000s,
it started the new era.
Its time.
It was good then, and it's great now.
Yeah.
That is
beyond its time.
It's a storyline. It's a storyline. It's content. You get to see multiple different, species of alien and how they interact, and obviously through the series as it continues, you see a lot of evolution there. But the one thing stayed the same, except for dual wielding, constant good content. They were consistent with what they did.
Yeah.
Obviously, ODST wasn't everybody's favorite, but I feel like they had to make it different because you were not a Spartan. You're still pretty badass, but you weren't a Spartan. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, and everyone was coming out with new stuff, so they had to bring out something new, I mean, just even talking about some of these games we played back in the day, thinks of kind of my game, that I always go back to, Splinter Cell. I love Splinter Cell,
Oh man, that was a fun game.
yeah,
It was co-op.
Yeah, that's just something that I can go back to. I can play it, and in fact, one of them I can have it on the 360 and on my one, So they make it so easy for me to go back to one of my favorites.
Affirmative.
What about you, Kurtis? What's your game? Your nostalgic game?
Ooh, to be honest, that's a hard one. I'm gonna have to say Crash Bandicoot. To be honest.
Oh,
Yo, remember the polar bears?
They had-
The polar bears on the ice rink shit.
Mm.
Oh man.
There were so many different ones, and I loved playing them. That was something that my dad and mom never played many video games, but that was one that they would always play with me, and it was one that to this day, like, they remastered it, and I bought it, and I still play it every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I have to say that's probably mine.
If we're talking nostalgia, what's on my mind right now at this very second? It'd have to be the Nintendo 64 doing those Super Smash Bros. Tournaments back in the day. That shit was lit.
Okay.
That was everything I wanted it to be and not, dude. We'd have 10, 15 boys over. We'd just be grinding it out, you know what I mean? And I mean, we even did that for Gator's bachelor party. We had a Nintendo, or no, it was Nintendo Wii, wasn't it?
And then they soon, figured that out, and they started setting up actual tournaments in game as it progressed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they didn't really take steps backwards in that series.
I said it 2 years ago, and I'll say it again. I am pissed that I didn't buy Nintendo stock when it was $12. That shit is worth so much right now. I'd literally have enough to buy my house in cash if I sold my Nintendo stock today. If I bought it back then, that just drives me nuts. But anyways.
I have to say another game that that was sort of like that, Aaron, is the Black Ops 2. I mean, I can remember, going out with buddies, and we'd set up Call of Duty Black Ops 2 tournaments where we would just literally go on a map and play one game nonstop and keep on seeing who won and just having a blast doing that, Oh,
do you remember when we would do 4 of us, and it would be 4v4, everyone's free for all?
Oh, yeah.
And we'd have 99 lives.
yeah.
Those games took 4 and 5 hours straight.
Yeah.
But I mean, we always had a blast doing it, and I mean, to this day, I still remember doing them, and I wouldn't mind doing it again. I mean, it was a blast to play.
Well, let's be real. Aaron would hop on his Donkey Kong and just troll you off the edge.
I just keep throwing him.
He'd pick you up, jump off the edge, throw, and then, up B, and he's back on the ledge. Meanwhile, you're off, way off world.
Or Ness. Your Kirby was pretty fucked up, though. That was ruthless.
Kirby was a spam bot.
Kirby was nasty.
Hey, don't forget Pokemon Trainer, guys. Come on.
We're talking about the 64, bro. We're talking
Pokemon
Gen
Trainer
1.
wasn't out there yet. Yeah.
We're talking Gen 1, man. But on the Wii, Pokemon Trainer is one of my mains, actually.
Yeah. Aaron does do the Pokemon Trainer.
But as the game evolved, I realized that Sonic was my calling, and that pisses a lot of people off. At least I'm not Ike, though. You know what I mean? Like Ike or Cloud, one of the ones that everyone plays. I'm
Lucina,
at least a little
Marth.
different. Lucina,
Pretty much any Fire Emblem character.
Yeah, dude. The
was
Fire
pretty
Emblem's
fun,
OP
too.
as dude. They're
Yoshi
so
was a
OP.
blast.
Oh yeah, I'll play those anytime I need to compete with some Cloud.
Oh yeah, no. If I'm trying to hurt
Yeah.
feelings, I'm gonna play as a Fire Emblem character. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyways,
Well, hey, let's change pace here a little bit. Let's switch over to movies.
Okay.
Let's start with you, Kurtis. Favorite movie of all time and why?
I have to say my favorite movie of all time. Dang, that's a really tough one. I have to be honest, it probably would be Transformers.
Okay.
I always loved the series because I always was a car person. I've been a car person for forever. And the idea of, the cars turning into robots, and then, obviously you have the male side of, the robots fighting each other. So, I mean, it was the best of both worlds for me, and I loved it. And I have to say it was one that, no matter what movie comes out, I'm always going to go and see it, even though it may look like crap on screen or in the trailer.
It's loyalty. It's loyalty. Shit, dude. I don't know what my favorite movie would be. I think at this point in time, right now, I think my favorite movie is still Deadpool. That movie is more quotable than The Princess Bride, more action-packed than anything produced by, what's his name, Michael Bay? Or who's the guy who does all the war things? Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson does war. Michael Bay does explosions.
There's better, sexual encounters in that movie than there is in freaking 50 Shades of Grey. It's exactly everything I need in my life. So I am looking. I challenge you all at this time to find something better than Deadpool for me. If you have a suggestion, I'll hear it. I'll watch it. But I just don't see something beating that for me this time.
All right, fair enough.
I can't blame you there.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good movies. There is. But
they have a good movie come out every other month.
Yeah. I mean,
if not every other week.
Yeah, I'd say probably the movie for me where I'd probably say it's still my favorite is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
That's a good one.
Okay.
That was
a really good movie.
It's the crowning glory of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is definitely one of the best trilogies or series for movies out there. There's not much that can compete with them. And I think that movie, it's just got a little bit of everything in it, and it's exactly what fans want to see.
That's fair.
Definitely.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
So on movies, though, are you one of those guys where you're going to just sit there and snack on popcorn the whole time? What's your movie treat, though? What's your movie must-have? For me, it's a Chick-fil-A sandwich, man. The theaters can get me right now, dude. If I had a nickel for every time I snuck a Chick-fil-A sandwich into a movie theater, I'd probably have enough money to buy a couple of y'all one.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. I'm a classic movie theater extra butter. Maybe if they got that white cheddar powder on there, maybe I'll load it up with some of that. But I don't know. I'm just more of a classic guy.
It honestly depends on the day. I mean, if it's a bit hotter outside, I usually will go with the popcorn route. But if it's a bit of a colder season, I'll usually do Milk Duds and a soda.
I'll get a glizzy.
And obviously, just like Aaron, you got to sneak it in.
Oh,
you can't let them pay those damn prices.
Oh yeah, no, you got to get them discounts.
Yeah, that Walmart 99-cent Milk Dud box instead of the movie theater $4.50. The same size.
With the $4.50, you could get.
Do I feel bad about it? Yes. Do I feel bad about it to stop? No.
Well, hey, I just think I'm really making these movie theater employees feel like they're making an impact. I come in heavy set and I leave lighter. Like
that movie changed my weight.
What wasn't she pregnant when she came in?
Wait a minute. Why are they walking out with a pizza box?
I talked to one of my buddies. He works in the movie theater business, and he says he honestly himself, because they get a free movie every week working at a movie theater. They can go and see one movie, whatever theater they want, a week for completely free. And he says every time he does that, he brings in his own shit too. So even the workers break the rules, man. So, I mean, do I feel bad about it? Not really.
Well, I mean, is it breaking the rules if you're paid to do it?
I mean,
I got paid to watch this movie.
Yeah,
that's actually hilarious. So tell me this, Kurtis. COVID was shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I know that the country's opening up more and everything. Tell me, before and after COVID, are you still a moviegoer? Are you a theater guy? Are you a couch guy?
I'll be completely honest. I have currently 4 movie tickets already bought, and I just went and saw one today. So I'm definitely a theater guy. I love going to the theater. There's something about just going there and sitting in the chair and it not being able to pause or disturb, just having to watch all the way through one sitting. It's different than sitting at home. I mean, there's some movies where definitely, staying at home is nice, but I have to say a majority of my movies, I go to the theater, even when they're out on, streaming services.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think for me, definitely, there's movies that I must see for the first time in theaters. Those are going to be the landmark movies for me. My different fandoms, whatnot. I have to see them there. Now, some of these other ones that might look interesting, but I'm like, you know what? I could probably just invite some friends over, pay the $30 streaming fee. We'll order some pizza, have a good time. We'll play the movie. The hard part's starting the movie at those parties because no one wants to shut up.
well, yeah. I mean, we have that to look at too. With Disney Plus, HBO, these guys want you to pay these fees to watch movies early. I mean, now let me be clear. Mulan has been out for a minute now, and you can watch it free. But I haven't watched that just because, one, I wasn't very excited with some of the changes they did. In addition to that, I don't see myself paying $30 for Mulan. Mulan is not a $30 movie.
Yeah.
If you bring me the Avengers, I'll pay $30 every time I watch that shit.
Well, for me, it's hard to consider spending money on a ticket like that when I can go to the movie theater and buy 4 movie theater tickets and still have it cheaper than that streaming fee, or sometimes even more if I go on the movie theater specialty days, because every theater, they usually have that day where it's reduced prices on the tickets.
So, like $5 Tuesday or whatever.
$5 Tuesdays is what we have here in Utah.
For us, it's $2.50.
Oh, there you go.
Days. That must be an Idaho thing. Bring a bag of potatoes and $2.50 in your
no. When I was up in Idaho, I think one of our theaters was $2.50.
I can't imagine.
But those were the smaller ones.
And now they have all these memberships where you can go and see as many movies as you want, as many days as you want for what? I think they say
AMC does that for $30 a month.
I think it's anywhere from $10 to $20 here, and you can go and see it as many movies as you want in theater as you want. So that's for anywhere in that range, I can go and see if I really want to 30 to 31 movies. That's one a day, if not more. But I mean, it's hard to, in my mind, spend that much money on a streaming service when I have the ability to do something for a better deal in my mind.
I understand that. Well, Mulan flopped. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there's movies and they flop.
Mulan flopped. Now, Black Widow, we were ready.
A year ago,
we were ready. Damn it, Disney! A year ago, we were ready. We were gonna do halfsies, $15 each.
Oh yeah.
And then the boys would bring pizza.
Pushed it back. They pushed it back.
Yeah. I mean, and if you looked at everyone's fee that everyone was chipping in, it was like maybe $3-4 because we had a big group wanting to watch it.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, everyone had food. Everyone had water, drinks. Everyone had chipped in shit. It was going to be literally like a Super Bowl show. But for, watching this Marvel movie. And then they kept pushing it back. Thank God it's finally coming out one of these years.
We'll see. The way I look at it... Movie. Yeah, the way I look at it, this whole delay with the whole COVID thing is, when it comes to these movies, that there are people who actually really care about the, for example, this Black Widow movie. There's plenty of people who are huge fans of this MCU universe, that want to go and see this movie. So would you rather have that party with people, or would you rather have that opening night experience where everyone is openly reacting to the movie and you can act the way you want to, when something huge happens, the whole audience gasps, at the end, everyone's clapping like, wow, what a film,
When The Force Awakens came out, everyone saw Luke Skywalker, everyone's like, ooh, the rest of the movies, boo.
I mean, we go talk about movies that everyone's been expecting and keeps getting pushed back. I mean, we got to mention Top Gun Maverick. I mean, that movie's been pushed back 7 times now, 8 times. It was supposed to come out what? I think in 2019 was the original release date. Early, like I think it was April 2019, and we're still here waiting for it. They're saying now that it's not going to be probably until November, I think it is, for it to get released.
Yeah.
And it's like, what in the world are they taking so much time on? I mean, it obviously, if the movie was expected to be released in 2019, it's not going to be that far, behind that they can't release it now. So everyone, I think, at least from that franchise, I think all the fans are wondering what in the world is going on that's making us have to wait this long. And I mean, I don't know what your guys' opinion is on that, or if you guys are even waiting for that movie. But
I enjoyed Top Gun.
I mean, I'm one of the fans that are just pissed off.
No, I enjoyed Top Gun, but at the same time, there's got to be a reason why they're pushing that back. With Marvel and the way that they do their things, I feel is pretty exemplary. Obviously, with the Black Widow movie, they were ready for it. COVID hit. They didn't know what to do. They wanted to make their money. So that's kind of where that is. But here's my question. A lot has changed in the last year plus. Is the movie going to come out? Are we going to accept it the same now as we would have a year ago?
I mean, that's a great question, to be honest. I mean, I think a lot of people are honestly just wondering what to expect from it. Because, 2 years ago, we were all expecting it to come out, and, we were expecting an amazing movie and all that with, amazing edits and everything like that. But now with, how much they've pushed it back, my concern is that fans are increasing their expectation out of the movie. And when it finally gets released, because of how much the fans have been waiting and they've pushed up their expectation, everyone is going to consider it a flop. And then possibly, we may not get another one. That's my biggest concern about, them pushing it back for so long.
Yeah, it's frustrating. We want the content, we want it now, and I don't want to be one of those people who, is over expecting or overly impatient. There's a lot of those smaller things, that I don't want to get caught in.
Yeah,
where we are right now, and not just from a cinematic standpoint, but in general, I feel like this newer generation is so impatient that it's to a fault.
Yeah.
I need my Amazon package in 2 days.
Yeah.
I need my fast food from the drive-thru in less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to throw a fit and talk to the manager. That's not how that works. When you go to fine dining, if you go to Texas Roadhouse, and if you get sat down immediately, you get your food in 5 minutes and you're out and gone, that's a miracle. You will never see that happen.
Yeah.
You wait for 20 minutes at minimum to find a seat. Wait 30 minutes to get your food if you're lucky. And then you're eating for, a half hour, 45 minutes. Then it takes you 10 minutes to get out of there once you're done paying and shit.
Yeah.
McDonald's takes you 10, 15 minutes. You're paying for the service and the convenience. That's what people don't understand. And they're impatient. With movies, I'm okay with them taking the extra time, but I will get a little upset if they don't do it right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've heard a couple different TV series, movies that their coming out has been delayed due to COVID, and because of that, they even re-scripted some of the things and improved upon it. I'm trying to think of I know one of the MCU series. I want to say it's Loki, but I can't remember. But yeah, basically, like they started rewriting the script, and so I mean, a lot of people have used it to their advantage, but a lot of times, like with Black Widow, has it been improved? Or Top Gun, like what's really going on behind these delays? Is it just a COVID scare, or is it actual development on the film itself?
Additionally, you have the problem of where people are, like, have you ever had that thing where you have a conversation with somebody, you get in a fight, and you say stupid shit,
Yeah.
Then they walk away, and then you're like, damn, I had another roast. You know what I mean? You think of what would have been even better after the fact, you know? So I'm hoping that with, you know, things like the Black Widow movie, you know, the delays for Spider-Man, delays for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, you know, a lot of these things, WandaVision, all these shows that got delayed, hopefully it was also for them to get some clarity, like post... I don't want to say post-nut clarity, but that's what it is, bro.
The shower
clarity.
thoughts.
Shower thoughts, exactly.
Uh,
I mean, Kurtis, how many decisions could you and me have made as friends over the better part of 10 years if we had just taken some extra time to think about what we were getting ourselves into? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. The only thing I have to say about all of this in general is, you know, all these companies, they're pushing back these movies, and, you know, everyone's having these expectations of what the movie is, and they have to, you know, work that into whatever they can, you know. And sometimes, you know, they can't always get all the fans happy, and that's something that I think movies are really trying to do right now with, you know, them delaying so much. They're trying to increase the amount of happy fans they have. And the question really is that going to be something that is even possible too? Because, I mean, Top Gun, one of the things everyone was wondering is who's going to sing Danger Zone? What's going to happen with Danger Zone? Because, you know, that's part of the iconic parts of that movie franchise is Top Gun, Danger Zone. I mean, that's one of the things you think of when you think of that movie. And, I mean, they even asked the person who sung that song in the original movie, if he had any clue what was going on, and he said, literally, I'm not going to direct quote it, I'm going to summarize it. He pretty much said, "Wait until the movie, you will not be ashamed. It's going to be amazing."
There you go.
Wow.
And I think that's something that, you know, a lot of the fans have to realize, and especially, you know, maybe the movies are also trying to accompany for what these new movie theaters are getting. I mean, I don't know if you guys have this in your area, but I know some movie theaters are getting something called 40X. It's actually what I went and saw my movie in today. And it's like motion seats with, you know, water and air getting sprayed at you and stuff like that. And it's supposed to make the movie more realistic. And one of the things I also am trying to think of is maybe, you know, are these publishers waiting to publish their movie to improve on maybe these new features that the movie theaters are getting to make them better?
There's a lot of commentary I want to
Yeah,
have that
man.
will get me banned so fast.
It's like in the films when, you know, you see the character go underwater and you hold your breath to see if you can survive. You know, they just straight up drown you.
Hey, drop your ass in the tank, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in Now You See Me, they just drop your ass. All right, you're experiencing the movie now, bitch!
Yeah, or honestly, the first thing that came to my mind, though, when you said what 40X is, because I kind of pictured Next Level IMAX, which that's what this sounds like.
It sort of is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the movie Red, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but there's a scene where they rescue this guy from an old folks' home, and they're watching a movie. And then the car crashes into the building like the movie shows. Oh, the A-Team. My bad.
The A-Team. That's one of the greatest movies of all time.
What was I thinking?
High five.
Sorry, I got a foggy brain. So yeah, in the A-Team, you know, and then they're sitting there shooting at him, you know, and the dude, you know, the crazy guy, he's sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is 3D. You know, his bullets are getting shot at him, you know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at these movies, and I think a lot of them are just trying to accompany for these new features that the movie theaters have. And I have to say, you know, just seeing how some of the trailers are today in that theater with the new seats, it was amazing, you know, seeing, you know, how the directors were trying to imagine some of these things with the chairs and stuff. I mean, they're really trying to make you feel like you are there.
All right.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Listen, all I know is, if you're going to have my freaking movie theater seat squirting on me and shit like that, yeah, where I'm not. I'll be a homebody for life. I do want to introduce you guys to a newer section of the show. We're going to be going... so the theme for this is name a movie that would have been much better if the main characters had sex. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off. I'll give you a couple reasons why I think it would be. For most of these are going to be comedic, but and then obviously if you guys have anything you want to add to that, we definitely can. First one on my list, it came out this year, Kong versus Godzilla. I mean, I felt something. I felt a spark. I feel like Kong, instead of that big battle axe, it should have been like a whip in cuffs or something. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, baby. I might be alone on that, but that's my first submission to the Hall of Fame. Of it would have been better if they had sex. It would have. I'm sorry. That's Godzilla's a nasty bitch. I'm calling female, and if not, and if they're both guys, good shit too, man. We want content, Yeah. Second one would be Bad Boys for Life. I don't know, man. Will and Martin, they got a thing, dude. I can't say that they don't have a thing, dude. I mean, how have they avoided that?
Sort of unique connection.
Well, how do they avoid that question on all their interviews, man? You guys are practically humping each other. So, my second nominee would be Bad Boys for Life. And my third one would be The Emperor's New Groove. I'm not necessarily talking about, the Emperor and Pacha when, he's a llama. I mean, if bestiality is your thing, ship that shit.
Yeah, that was my first question. Llama Cusco or human Cusco?
The poison to kill Cusco. Have some llama sex. Or even worse,
ecstasy.
Pacha pays a hooker shop, right?
No matter what, it would have been interesting. Let's just be honest.
Well, Pacha walks into the hooker shop, right? Or whatever. I don't know, dude. A brothel, okay. A brothel of that time in Cusco's empire, right?
Yeah.
Takes off his
poncho.
His poncho, right? Slides the curtain. A llama? He's supposed to be dead. Roll credits. Roll credits.
He kicks down the door. Nothing but a smile. Boom, baby. Oh man.
Doing, step bro.
Oh shit! So those are my three nominees for the Hall of Fame of it would have been better if the main characters had sex. Jim, what you got for us?
I'm thinking the Dark Knight. So I don't know. I mean, picture this. You got Batman, Joker. They're just going at it.
Yeah, not Rachel.
But instead, it's more like that, Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibe, you know what I mean? Joker, let's be real, he's got some sort of attraction to Batman. All right, whether that's, in the movies or not, he's got something going on.
And I quote, "You and I were meant to do this forever." Yeah. Whoa, yeah. Chill.
I mean, you sort of get an idea of that too when you watch some of the animated versions. I mean, there's a scene in one of the animated versions where Scarecrow pulls off Batman's mask and Joker gets pissed at Scarecrow, saying, "Not knowing who he was half the fun."
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you sort of get that vibe too. That, Joker's just there trying to have fun with Batman rather than actually trying to be a bad guy.
Yeah, and I mean it's that classic forbidden fruit. What you can't have, you want. I don't know.
Forbidden fruit, gee. Forbidden fruit.
We could talk about The Dark Knight all night. I guarantee it.
God damn.
My second nominee would have to be Shrek. I mean, you can just picture it right now. Donkey, get out of my swamp.
Whoa, which swamp?
That's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Waffle stomping.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Hoofs. Getting some hoof time.
You ever been with a talking donkey? No. Why would I have been with a non-talking donkey?
Donkey. Have you ever had a hoof fetish?
It's just this ultimate third wheel on this journey of them understanding their emotions.
I feel like Donkey is potentially polyamorous. I feel like, if Donkey can seduce a dragon,
yeah.
I mean, why can't he be, him and Shrek be rumbling in the jungle? Or in the swamp, excuse me.
Yeah.
Why can't they be splashing in the swamp?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Shrek blow a snake or a toad, whatever it was, man, in the movie. Why wouldn't he blow a donkey? You know what I'm saying?
That's great.
What about you, Curtis?
To be honest, the first one that came to mind was Percy Jackson.
Okay.
Partially because, it just, and I'm not talking about Grover and Percy. I'm talking Annabeth and Percy.
Yeah,
no.
There's three main characters in there.
We're shipping a threesome at best. If not, my boy fucking Goat is gonna get it.
Nah.
I mean, anyway, it's going
What's
to be
his
an
name?
interesting addition
Grover.
to the franchise.
Grover got gains, baby.
Well, let's just be honest. I mean, Annabeth's mom is Athena, the god of wisdom and war. And I mean, it just sort of feels like they've always had a connection throughout the whole series. It sort of felt like they had a connection, but
yeah,
it
at night
never
when
felt
they
like
at night when the cameras aren't rolling, there's a connection, baby.
it felt like there was sort of like
Where's
a
the
forbidden
light
fruit
socket?
sort of feeling, because neither of
Jesus.
them were officially gods, and they were both half gods. And I think that was something that was sort of both in like the movie franchise, like holding them back. And it felt like something should have happened, but it never happened.
Yeah.
Wait. Percy and Annabeth, right? So Percy's the son of Zeus. Annabeth
Poseidon,
is the son of
Poseidon.
Athena,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. Oh, I see. Did Poseidon and Athena ever bump uglies?
I honestly don't know. I mean, that may be something that the viewers need to look up in Google. Let's just be honest.
Listen,
Yeah.
this sounds a lot like Rule 34, and this sounds a lot like something you'd probably find on the Hub.
All right.
Hey.
There's one thing I do have to say about the shipping Percy and Grover. All right.
Let's do it.
Spoilers, okay? If you didn't listen to or watch Percy Jackson, plug your ears. But I mean, at the end of the movie, or basically the whole point of the movie is for Grover to get his horns, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he turned him into a horn dog.
This movie's all about and listen.
Yeah.
Listen, Percy and Grover have a very intimate relationship because even though Grover has little nubs, Percy appreciated him for who he was.
Yeah, do you remember his reaction when Grover started taking off his pants? I saw a little bit of excitement.
You know what?
I'm not gonna lie.
No, excitement from Percy, jealousy from the mom.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been a little excited to see someone with goat legs, though.
It would have been interesting no matter what. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
And, I mean, another one that I want to mention that I don't know if I talked to you about earlier, Aaron, was honestly Spider-Man Far From Home, or Homecoming. I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming. I mean,
You want him to
Peter
fuck the
Parker
vulture?
and MJ. Peter
Oh,
Parker and MJ. I mean,
Okay.
let's just be honest. I mean, there was a connection from the start there.
a lot
but
of
They never
tension.
did anything.
Yeah.
We don't worry about what
I
they're
mean-
doing offset. We don't worry about what they're doing offset.
I mean, let's just be honest. MJ and Peter
Zendaya.
Parker, they're going overseas to, another country. Let's just all be honest what we all were thinking. They were going to have to hook up at some point.
Hey,
He's also 15.
they only got 2 adults to supervise the whole squad. I mean,
and-
shoot. The kid walked in on Peter, almost hooking up with a hooker. At least that's what he thought,
Let's just be honest.
Honestly,
All-
that shame on Peter. Shame on Peter. Get the gains.
I mean, let's just be honest. How many times did Peter sneak away from, his people watching him on that trip? I mean, it
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't have been hard for them to sneak off and go and have some fun.
Well, it's like there's 10 of you. How the hell do you?
All they need to go is 20 rows back in that opera, and boom, magic happens.
Opera head?
Hey, exactly.
Opera head? Hang on.
Okay.
Did we just develop a new kink?
I saved you a seat. Got binoculars for you, because it's tiny.
Yeah. MJ, did you get binoculars? He's like, yeah, that's the only way I'm going to find it. Oh, damn. Respect for Peter Parker. Respect for Peter Parker.
No, we love Pete.
Pete's been doing okay. Excited for his movie at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys heard this. He actually proposed a sex scene in the movie to Marvel, but Marvel turned him down, sadly.
It's because he's a minor, dude.
Yeah,
In Spider-Man Homecoming,
Turbo
he's-
Virgin.
he's 15.
Hey, They could have always made the movie, advance a few years and, something happened, but
3
they
years
decided
magically
they weren't going
later. Yeah, like Flash
Hey.
trying to get drunk at 21.
Peter Parker, still on the run for 3 years. Will he turn himself in for his crimes?
Will he no longer be a virgin?
Yeah, he's gonna catch a case, man. He's gonna catch a case. So movies that have come out this year so far, we want to cover a couple of them. Let's talk about Godzilla real fast. Godzilla vs. Kong. Spoiler alert. Obviously, guys, we're talking about these are reviews. I watched Godzilla vs. Kong, I think 2 times. Did you have a chance to watch that?
No.
It's on HBO. I'll let you watch it.
Okay. Yeah.
Long story short, I mean, if you want to cover your ears, they have a couple good fight scenes where they're fighting each other, right? I mean, they're alpha titans.
Yeah.
You got King of the Monkeys and King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
And I really feel like Godzilla King of the Monsters really sets him up to be the alpha. And where we lie off is Kong's getting pretty sick of where he is because it's a continuation of Skull Island.
Yeah.
They put him in a little habitat, if you will, in a cage. He's not having it.
Of course not.
So they move him somewhere. They try to move him somewhere safe. Godzilla smells that, and he's not about it, right? And then you got the guys on the inside who are creating Mechagodzilla, who at the end becomes the enemy, as everyone kind of knew, right? Because we've already the storyline's been played out before.
Ultron.
We were ready for it to come again. And that's what's got Godzilla pissed, And, Godzilla's got to prove his dominance. So him and Kong fight a little bit on the boats and shit. Kong, with help from the people, is able to suppress Godzilla. He doesn't win by any means. Godzilla gets him pretty good. But then they go off to this secret special place, middle of the world, horse shit, futuristic technology. I don't understand it. He gets his little axe, like he's all badass, where, again, it should have been whips and chains. But I digress. And then he goes up to fight Godzilla. And, they fight in Tokyo City, I believe, or where it is. Again, foreshadowing, we all knew where it was happening.
Yeah. And
they beat the shit out of each other. And Godzilla beats the absolute shit out of Kong. Axe and all, you know what I mean? I mean, they have a good skirmish. Kong wins the round.
Yeah.
Godzilla won the war.
Yep.
So Kong got lucky on that first fight on the docks, or on the boats and shit, right, when they were transporting him.
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla, and when they're in the city, Kong has his little axe thing, beats the shit out of Godzilla with his axe. But then once he doesn't have his axe, Godzilla whoops his ass. Like, absolutely trashed him.
Let's just be honest, though, we all sort of could foreshadow them becoming allies against the mecha, though, especially with, the axe being a thing, because we all saw the axe gain power. We could both
so the axe
sort of
gains
see
power through King Kong, or through Godzilla's fire breath.
Exactly.
Radioactive
so
shit.
We could sort of foreshadow that, they were going to somewhat come to an agreement.
Oh,
My biggest question about that whole fucking thing is Kong, while he was in the Earth's core and Godzilla was up top and he, drilled that hole all the way at Earth's core using his breath. What in the world is going to happen now in that part of Tokyo? Is that just going to be some sort of sacred area that, there's a huge ass hole in the ground, or what's their plan there?
No, they're gonna close it up. It'll close up on its own, I'm sure. The Earth finds a way. Because at the end of the movie, after
movement.
So after Godzilla beats Kong's ass, right? Godzilla now fights Mechagodzilla, and he's getting his ass beat. Obviously, Kong sees what's going on. He comes in to help. Godzilla's like, I can beat him on my own, but I'll let you help, kind of an attitude, right? Godzilla about eats shit. Kong saves him, and vice versa multiple times throughout this fight. Obviously, they beat Mechagodzilla at the end of the day. And then Kong gets transported away to his sacred little town in the middle of the earth shit again. And then Godzilla just, is king of the world in that sense, protecting humanity, right? As of Godzilla, King of Monsters. So I mean, the plot played out perfectly the way that we thought it would. And Kong has his happily ever after, even though he lost. But at the same time, Godzilla would have died. So is it a draw? I say Godzilla won. Controversial, but I'm a big King Kong fan. Don't get me wrong. I think Godzilla easily won.
Yeah, I have to agree. It was probably Godzilla W, but I mean, I think honestly it could be considered a W or a tie, to be honest. I mean, if the fight had continued on, Godzilla probably would have won, but I think it sort of ended up being a tie in some aspects too.
In which part? The part where Kong needed an axe to make it an even fight? Or the part where Godzilla was beat the axe out of him and then was going to stomp on him and kill him?
Godzilla had more assets than Kong in that whole fight. Let's just be honest.
In Tokyo?
He had his scales. He has his scales on his tail. Okay, where Kong, all he has is his hands and his feet. He has his fire breath. I mean, Kong doesn't have anything that could really combat that. I mean, the axe was sort of the game leveler, to be honest. I mean,
Equalizer.
Kong had so much equalizer. Yeah, that's the word. I mean,
and Kong
Godzilla had so much more than Kong for all those fights. Kong needed the axe to sort of equalize the chance of winning, possibly.
Possibly. I can agree with that. 100%. So have you seen The Hitman's Wife, Kurtis?
I have. I saw it last week.
Tell us a little bit about The Hitman's Wife. We haven't had a chance to see that one yet.
So, The Hitman's Wife is a very interesting story. It starts out with the same person that plays Deadpool. I'm trying to remember his name.
Ryan
Reynolds, our Lord and Savior.
My brain just went off for a second. Ryan Reynolds is a bodyguard in it. Morgan Freeman is also in it as Ryan Reynolds' father. Don't ask me how that works.
So when a man loves a woman...
Morgan Freeman, Ryan Reynolds.
Hey, shit happens, bro.
I mean, I'm not opposed, but I mean...
Ryan Reynolds was also Pikachu, bro. He's literally America's treasure.
Ryan Reynolds, throughout the movie,
bro.
was sort of having just a midlife crisis sort of thing, where they were he was trying to work through his problems because he had a lot of problems. He had a bad thing go on one of his security cases where one of his targets died, and from this hitman, and he's got his bodyguarding license removed, so he ended up having to he was just going sort of through sabbatical, relaxing, no guns, no violence, anything like that. And that's when the hitman's wife that actually killed the target that made him not happen comes to see Ryan Reynolds in the middle of a shootout that he's unaware is happening, and asks for help because her husband got kidnapped, and then they got looped into a CIA sort of operation to essentially stop someone from buying nuclear codes. It was a code that would pretty much, usual story, if it gets out, it's going to hurt the world world's going to go to an end, So this 3-person crew is literally the hitman, the bodyguard who lost his job due to the hitman, and the hitman's wife are all going and helping the CIA with this thing, and they end up, and the whole movie it sort of is like a comedy action film, which I mean, any movie Ryan Reynolds is part of, it's honestly a comedy action. Let's just be honest. And it was a very fun sort of show, where it was meant for you to laugh, but it was still had some really good action scenes. I would say it was definitely a movie that I would go and see again. It was worth it.
All right. And so it is a continuation of the initial movie Hitman's Bodyguard with Samuel L. Jackson and such, correct?
Correct.
Right. So I enjoyed that first movie. It was very... Sheesh.
Samuel L. Jackson is the hitman again in this movie, too.
Nice. That's exciting. That came out just barely.
Yeah, it came out I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it's been a very good movie.
I wonder if that's on streaming service. I'd love to not go to a theater. I'm a couch guy, man. I don't leave my house when I don't have to.
No, I understand. We all have our own way of wanting to see movies.
We've talked a lot about. Go ahead.
We've talked a lot about, Hitman's Wife and these other movies, but I mean, Aaron, I don't know if you've seen this, but have you seen Fast 9 yet?
Nope.
How about you, Jimmer? You seen Fast 9 yet?
No, I haven't.
Considering it came out, what, today?
No, it came out 2 days ago.
Yes or no?
But, I'm going to try not to spoil anything, but I mean, what's your guys' opinion on the direction that the Fast and Furious franchise is going? I mean, we all know that from the trailer that there is some sort of space thing going on in this movie. So what's your guys' opinion on, them going from this old-fashioned just, drag racing and, street racing from the first one to, where they are now where, they're taking on international crime on, a shadow level and stuff like that.
So what was the name of Fast and Furious 6?
Do
we know?
Making me try to think back.
Isn't number 6? What's that called?
What?
The Last Ride?
Fast and Furious 6 was called just Fast and Furious 6. It wasn't called the Last Ride or anything.
Was number 7 called The Last Ride? Which one was called? I think one of them was called The Last Ride.
Oh, 6 was All Roads Lead to This.
Okay. What was 7? One of those was like Last Ride, and that's where they should have ended it, dude. I'm not a big fan of Vin Diesel or his acting.
7 was one where Paul Walker passed,
Yeah,
and
7
they
was
had
the last
CGI.
one with Paul Walker.
That's where they should have ended.
8
right
is
there.
New Roads Ahead. So
Yeah,
maybe it was...
I think number 7 is where some people did think it should end. I mean, I don't know. I can't fathom, what the plot is, with all this, futuristic stuff they're hopping into. But I mean, if it's something to elevate the story and it goes good with the story, and they don't, do a bad job with CGI and whatnot, I'm totally open to it. I really am.
Yeah, I think
it's controversial.
I think this most recent one, really the main reason why they came out with it, I think it was to just sort of close up some loose ends that we had, because there was a lot of loose ends that we had from previous movies, like why did Han die and stuff like that, we weren't quite aware of at the time as to why that sort of happened. And I think this movie brought some clarity into why those certain things happened, so that, I think it's trying to close some ends. So I think they're leading to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you guys this. I think it was Fast 7 where they changed from Corona to Budweiser. I mean, they had, 6 movies where it was always, Corona, and now they're going to Budweiser. What was your guys' opinion on them changing? Like, I think that was one main thing that, sort of all the characters were known for. What was your guys' opinion on that?
Well, I mean, I just kind of was my first reaction. My instinct was, what happened there? What changed? Is it something that's movie based, or is this outside of the movie world where it comes into play with different deals with companies, such as Corona and Budweiser, where maybe they got a better offer, or maybe the offer was going up. I don't know,
Yeah,
So that's where I was curious.
It's like Coke or Pepsi. It's like, who cares? Give me a beverage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The one thing I do have to ask about Fast, because I'm gonna be honest with you, Curtis, I'm not a fan, and we'll get to that as we close on this. But big shocker to a lot of people was that The Rock wasn't cast for Fast 9. Is that correct?
Correct. And there's a bit of background as to why he was not back cast, actually.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Where did Rock's character go?
So what happened with The Rock is actually Tyrese Gibson and Vin Diesel both had a falling out with him with something happening on set in one of the previous Fast movies where The Rock did something and both of them were really mad at him. So pretty much both Vin Diesel and Tyrese Gibson both said, we refuse to do another Fast and Furious movie if you guys are going to cast The Rock. That's why we had that one Fast and Furious movie where, I mean, Vin Diesel was in it, but he was in it more as a cameo near the end, and it was more just The Rock in that one movie. And so I think here for Fast and Furious going forward, I think we aren't going to see as much of The Rock because, you know, they're going to think, yeah, The Rock's nice and all, but I don't think they're going to show him as much due to them wanting those more key characters, Vin Diesel. I mean, is it really a huge Fast and Furious movie without Vin Diesel anymore? Yeah. And then you also have Tyrese Gibson. I mean, he's the comedy of the crew. I mean, he's something that, you know, you go and you laugh at him the whole time during the movie. I mean, and without those two, I mean, I think that they aren't going to cast him as much as they used to.
As far as The Rock goes, I don't. There hasn't been acting he's done that I haven't liked. I'm going to be honest. So The Rock was gone. Was he replaced by John Cena? We know that John Cena was cast in the movie. What's his role?
So John Cena in this movie, spoiler by the way, he starts out as a bad guy. He's a bad guy from the start of it. He originally is a bad guy working as a spy and he took down Mr. Nobody. He took down his plane and he's trying to get a device that pretty much will hack the whole world and anything that has any electronics. Anything that goes off of the numbers 1 and 2 or 0 and 1, I can't remember what numbers they said. I'm not amazing at computers myself. But pretty much anything that is electronic, it can hack. And what it does is what he is trying to do is upload that to a satellite that they launch into space.
Okay.
And John Cena, as the movie goes on, you learn that he was Vin Diesel's brother. And they play him as Vin Diesel's brother, and they give us a bit of backstory into Vin Diesel and why he's come into, you know, the racing life and the family life. They talk a bit about his dad and what happened to his dad and why we haven't ever seen or heard of him. Little did we know his dad died in the middle of a actual racing event. He got hit by another car, went up into the wire and exploded, dying before anything happened in front of his son, who was his spotter, and John Cena hit like the maintenance guy on the crew. He died right in front of them. And from that point on, the movie, you know, John Cena just sort of evolves. And eventually, as you get towards the end of the movie, you sort of learn more about everything. And John Cena slowly starts turning to the good, to the point where near the end of the movie, he's actually sort of became a good guy in some aspect. And he's actually trying to help them stop the virus from being uploaded into space.
Interesting.
So from this current point, I don't see John Cena taking over The Rock's spot.
That's interesting. I don't know, man. I can't get behind the Fast and the Furious movies at all, and I apologize. I just can't. I hate Vin Diesel's acting. I think his acting range is about as good as I Am Groot, and I think that's all the acting we've ever needed from him. But that's me. Yeah, I don't like his acting. I don't like his attitude. A lot of issue I know as well, as far as we were talking about The Rock's contract, right? And why The Rock's not there anymore. In Vin Diesel's contract, he cannot lose.
Yes.
He has to win every time, which I think is horseshit, especially when you're telling a real story. But again, these guys have lost reality about 7 movies ago.
Yeah. A lot of people say the last Fast and Furious should have been Fast 6, because that's when realism just got thrown out the window, and they started bringing in these government sort of contracts sort of feeling.
And all fake
that's
shit.
That's when everyone's saying that, you know, Fast and Furious, I mean, sure, it still is entertaining everything, but it's not the same as it was, and people are saying that it's starting to head downhill.
It's like that Crazy X. You've changed. Oh my god. Yeah, and then The Rock in his contract, he couldn't lose a fight either. So I mean, it's just bad all around it. I don't even know where to start with my dislike for that series. I've seen, I think, Fast 7, I think, and I wasn't impressed. And that's all I've got for you. I think little Chinese guy died, and that actually really pissed me off because he was my favorite character. So there's that. I don't even know his name. I didn't care about the movie that much.
I'm not certain of this, but I also believe that one thing that Vin Diesel did, and I think this happened right after Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. I believe he ended up actually taking over part of, the ability to, write the Fast and Furious movies. Like, I think he took some sort of creative power over that, if I remember right. I'm not certain on that, but I believe he did, which I think is part of the reason also why, we see these changing. I think it's because, the Vin Diesel is, part of the person helping give ideas towards the show. And I think he's really trying to sort of spotlight himself in some aspect too.
Yeah. I mean, if you're writing the same film that you're in, it's going to be something your character personally caters, which is definitely why, the Fast franchise is Vin Diesel.
I don't know. I like the girl, though, because it's the same girl who plays Sanchez from SWAT. She's a badass, but anyways.
Oh, that one. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
She's a badass. I mean, she should be the face of that franchise, but I digress. One day...
Is it Michelle Rodriguez?
Michelle Rodriguez. Mm-hmm. One day I may watch all the shows, and I may change my mind, but as of right now, I'm just... That's kind of where I'm set. I'm open
I mean, everything
to learn more about it and to change, but as of right now, I just, it's not for me, and that's okay. And if you love that shit, good for you. Live your life. My opinion doesn't matter anyways, unless you think mine does.
And I think one of the biggest memes of the Fast and Furious franchise, as of, this latest movie, is, people are saying that, like, in Fast and Furious 17, it's going to be, like, Vin Diesel driving the Millennium Falcon in, like, Star Wars or something like that. Because that's how, like, unrealistic it's gotten, and that's how much it's gotten away from, car driving and stuff like that.
Fast 10, we're going after the Infinity Stones.
I mean, there was literally, I saw a meme earlier today. It said... It's at the point where Fast and Furious might as well start fighting the Avengers.
I mean, they can try. Speaking of the Avengers, we have a big movie coming up in this next couple weeks, which is The Black Widow. They're finally releasing it. I don't think they can back it any more than they already have. We're looking at, what is it, July 9th?
Yes.
That's coming out for. Jim, obviously you have a lot more reading on that than we do. What are we looking for in this new Black Widow movie?
Well, I mean, in this Black Widow, it's the second standalone, female movie. So obviously they're going to capitalize on that. I feel, MCU girl power type stuff.
Absolutely, love it.
Yeah, but we're also going to get to understand a little bit more about Black Widow's character, understand why she is who she is, how she became it, as well as it looks like there's going to be plenty of humor in there. I'm personally expecting this to be either like a Thor Ragnarok type film, where it's got, good action, good humor, well-rounded, but again, it just, depends on how it turns out. I know that a lot of Marvel fans aren't big on the villains in the franchise. A lot of the villains, they don't feel really hit as hard as they could.
Right.
But I mean, we'll see how people feel about Taskmaster.
So we can confirm Taskmaster is our villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, in the comics, Natasha trained Taskmaster. Whether that's going to follow true, or whether they're going to brush that off like, yeah, Hela is Thor and Loki's sister. Obviously they're gonna play the strings with the comics the way that they can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly super excited to see the Red Guardian.
Yeah, yeah.
I for those of you who don't know, the Red Guardian is literally Russian Captain America.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Adam. He's a superhero. He also has a pretty badass shield, the
And
whole
a
9
beard.
yards. And in this casting, it looks like he may even be related to Natasha. I know in the comics there's a love interest there, but I don't know if that ever blooms.
I don't know. From what I've been able to gather from it seems almost like he's more of a father figure from the trailers. You know,
And
that's at least the way it seems portrayed.
And I'm okay with that. Let's talk about that white suit. Yo, no one ever said that Natasha Romanoff wasn't a snack. But let's confirm that white suit.
Yeah,
It's definitely one of the better looking ones in the franchise, I would say.
I think they did well. I mean, they've done good with a lot of these most recent suits. You know, the new Captain Falcon. You know,
Captain Falcon Punch.
You know, Scarlet Witch. You know, finally, you know, her being recognized as the Scarlet Witch. You know,
Instead of Wanda.
Yeah, up to this point, she's just been Wanda. Some chick with unknown powers, not knowing her capabilities, confused, scared, you know, unbridled power. You know?
Yeah.
I'm so excited. The white suit, I mean, the trailers have been exciting. I want to say that's something that we have opening tickets for.
Yeah, for sure.
I already have opening tickets myself.
And if we don't, so we're excited to give you a full deep dive on that movie. It's that episode's going to be a long time.
Yeah.
We don't have a bunch more. There's only a couple more that I want to cover.
Can I just add to that what we're talking, because we're on the Marvel topic right now. Can we all just agree that it's really nice that they actually released a roadmap of what movies are coming out and potential release dates? Let's just acknowledge, thank Marvel for that, because I mean, to this point, we've always, we've known that usually there's a Marvel movie every year, but we aren't always certain of, what Marvel movie is coming out that year.
Yeah.
And now that we actually have a roadmap, it's sort of nice, I mean,
not only that, we've been blessed with so much Marvel content. We've got Falcon, WandaVision. WandaVision was first, right?
Yeah, WandaVision.
Then we have Falcon.
Winter Soldier.
Then we had Loki.
Yeah.
And at the end of and I literally just forgot about Black Widow. And at the end of the year, we get the new Spider-Man No Way Home.
And you can't forget about Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. That's starting to release all that. They just keep going.
I honestly am really looking forward to that.
Yeah, the Eternals.
That movie honestly looks super nice.
Yeah. I mean,
do we know anything about the Eternals?
They came out with one trailer
because it was going to be this November.
Yeah,
I'm assuming they pushed that.
It does look like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones is in the Eternals. I think he was cast as a villain. I think
I'm okay with that.
Shang-Chi, it seems pretty interesting. That dropped. Looks like there might be a little bit of a Abomination coming back for a little bit in the film.
And I feel like if they're gonna do Shang-Chi, they absolutely have to unlock the Mandarin. Not the shit that we got with Tony Stark, which was a tease of who the actual Mandarin is. That organization is insane.
I definitely agree. I think the Mandarin needs to actually come into Marvel, and we actually need to see it, because I think, a Shang-Chi versus, the Mandarin may be a very interesting sort of thing. I mean, Tony Stark versus the Mandarin, I mean, it always was sort of a joke, especially, once he found who they claimed was the Mandarin. I mean, it was just a joke, honestly. I have to be honest, I was disappointed in that when that happened. I think that, if Shang-Chi does happen, they need to bring it back, and they need to make some sort of actual villain.
Well, and the reason why the Mandarin's going to be involved is because the Mandarin in Shang-Chi is Batman and the Joker. Does that make sense? In the comics, the Mandarin is, the Shang-Chi, as well as the Iron Fist, to a small extent. Because the Iron Fist obviously has the hand that he's dealing with.
Yeah.
It's very similar to Peter Parker and the Green Goblin. You know, they're destined to fight.
Well,
Now, getting a tease in Iron Man, that was great.
Yeah.
I appreciated that they kept the story realistic and brought someone actually from his past, you know, because the whole issue was Tony's pushing so hard for the future, the past comes to get him, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And we're straying off topic, but at that point, there's so much Marvel content that we've had in 2021. This is bigger. This year has been bigger for Marvel, in my opinion, than the year where we got Endgame. And the second Spider-Man movie right after, explaining the Tony part, the whole 9 yards. What was that, 19?
Yeah.
That was
19
19.
years ago.
This year is so much bigger. There's so much content explaining, and it's not like where they're tying up loose ends. They're giving us so much more information to kind of feel where the next big Avengers movie is going to be. Where's the next team up? How does the world cope? Obviously,
story into the next Avengers team.
Yeah,
because I don't think there's going to be, you know, there. I think that the official Avengers team is done. I think there isn't going to be an actual Avengers, but I think that they're sort of giving us an idea for new characters right now, and I think eventually they're going to create sort of. It's not going to be called the Avengers, but something that would be similar or on par with them.
No, it has to be the Avengers, Curtis. Read the comics. It has to be the Avengers. Ant-Man leads the Avengers. Captain Marvel leads the Avengers. Peter Parker leads the Avengers. Sam leads the Avengers. I mean, they've got so much story they need to pull. I'm just excited to see what they do. They're teasing us with content. I would like to know what the final product is, and I'm just excited because I feel like Black Widow now, this next week, and what we're looking at with Spider-Man at the end of the year, those are the two guaranteed. They're not changing it. It's set in stone. Mm-hmm. That will tell us, is Peter Parker going to be...
They're pivotal.
...the next phase of the Avengers once he can clear his name?
Yeah.
If he can. I mean, obviously, Tom Holland's on a 6-movie contract. So he's got... with just the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
That doesn't count his crossover contract, any of that other stuff that he's involved with Marvel.
Yeah.
He's got so much more he's got to do.
Well, and I can't even imagine, you know, these 3 series that have come out so far. You know, we're still in the middle of Loki, but imagine all that being packed into a movie. You know, I'm glad that the Marvel understood, you know, that if they wanted to do it right, set up for the next phase in the Marvel universe, you know, this MCU, that, you know, they really needed to take their time, break it down into little chunks. You know, because I mean, you know, the last Avengers movie was long. You know, we're starting to get into these movies where they're longer. You know, so sometimes breaking it out into, you know, 6 series episode, you know, 8 series, you know, like boom, you know, we're
well, and I love the way that Marvel did Endgame. That movie was what, 3.5 hours, which was fine for me. It was fine for me.
Yeah,
but if you're gonna do shit like that,
you were entranced the whole movie.
Oh, 100%.
There was, you know, it was a 30-minute show that lasted 3 hours.
Absolutely. Well, you have Avengers, Infinity War, which was a whole ass thing, and then you have Endgame, you know, which is all really one big sequence.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a time lapse that kind of helps explain a lot of the issues. But you see these other movies like Twilight did, a part 1 and a part 2. That rubbed me the wrong way. Harry Potter tried that same shit with the what was it?
Yeah, Deathly Hallows.
Deathly Hallows. That shit was terrible. I love Harry Potter.
Mockingjay.
I haven't watched them all.
Hunger Games,
oh my fuck! The Hunger Games.
Yep.
Hunger Games wasn't terrible.
No.
Hunger Games did not screw that up entirely.
Could you imagine if they did that with my Lord of the Rings: Return of the King?
Oh my shit, dude! The Lord of the Rings needs a 7-series tribute, like Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Amazon's working on something, so we'll see what they cough up.
I'm so excited. Is that when's that coming out? Next year?
So hopefully sooner the better, man.
Dude,
sooner the better.
I don't know what I'm going to do with all this content. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this content.
Yeah, Aaron, I know you like Spider-Man also a little bit, and Tom Holland as the new Spider-Man. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but he's supposedly in the talks for possibly being in Fast and Furious 10.
Well, he's been doing a lot of different movies on the side, especially since his first role, as Spider-Man. He's been in a couple different animated movies. He's been in different roles.
He did Dr. Dolittle at the start of 2020. No one liked that movie. I loved that movie. It's a kids movie.
Yeah.
But I feel like Robert Downey Jr. did great. Peter Parker, Tom Holland doesn't have an actual role in there.
Yeah.
He's a CGI dog, who is ironically Robert Downey Jr.'s right-hand pup, which, again, big foreshadowing outside of the MCU for that shit. That, no, I'm still with you to the end of the road.
Well, I mean,
and then you have John Cena, other characters in there. And then he does that thing where he's the pigeon with, like, who's that, Will Smith? Like, Secret Agent Pigeon or some shit. I mean, he's gotten a lot of acts. I remember his first big break was Les Mis.
Yeah.
And I'd never watched it. I probably won't.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where he got a lot of, viewership. And his name got out there. And obviously, as he continued his gymnastics and this and that, he was indirectly developing himself to become the Spider-Man that we really needed in 2016.
You've heard Stan Lee say, he is the embodiment of Peter Parker. He is Spider-Man.
All he has to do is grow up and be that person, Jimmy. That's all he has to do.
Yeah. Man.
I'm so excited for all of that, man. There's so much content.
Yeah.
That we still need to go over even. I mean,
and I mean, once this Loki series is finished, well, I think we'll be in a better position, to understand what's going on. I'm not sure Black Widow will have too much of an impact on the future of the MCU itself.
Right.
But I mean, it will probably be like Fast 9 was, it's something that kind of resolves, answers questions,
Absolutely.
Something that, is more of a, after the movie.
I'm worried. I'm really worried about Black Widow. Like, down the down low, there's so much hype for this movie.
It flops.
If this movie flops, I swear to God.
It becomes Thor 2.
If it becomes... See, I didn't hate Thor the Dark World. I just hated some of it, But here's my thing. This movie has been compared so much to Wonder Woman 1994 or whatever that is.
Oh, yeah.
1984 or 1844. I don't care.
Yeah.
And that movie was possibly the biggest flop. I enjoy... I didn't watch the whole movie. I haven't finished watching it yet, bud.
It didn't have enough meat. That's really all it was. They had good ideas. It wasn't what we were looking for. Wasn't what we were expecting.
Yeah.
And honestly, the fight scenes in there were minuscule.
Well, and if you want to shit talk superhero movies, everyone talks mad shit on Batman v Superman.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is infinitely better than Wonder Woman 1984.
No.
Or 1884, whatever it is. I could not believe how much potential you had with arguably the best movie DC's ever come out with. And I am very aware, and I'm counting the Snyder Cut as a part of the DC universe. I am very aware and accepting of that. However, I think Wonder Woman took the coat. I think it's better than... it'll never be better than the Christian Bale Batman series. I'm sorry, those are cinematic gold.
Yeah.
God bless Christopher Nolan for those 3 movies.
Oh, yeah.
But Wonder Woman is easily right up there with them. With casting, with storyline, with development. And then you go to Wonder Woman 1984, and she's swinging her lasso from a lightning bolt when she should be able to fly. So again, there's just a lot of shit, little shit like that just rubbed me the wrong way the entire time. I don't know, man.
I have to be honest. In my opinion, Wonder Woman 1984, it literally felt like a plug for the next movie, and it literally felt like the only reason why they did it was for that end credit scene where they showed Linda Carter talking to her. I think that's literally... in my opinion, that felt like that was why they made the movie, was to plug Linda Carter for the next movie.
How much money did that make?
The movie?
How much money did Wonder Woman 1984 make? Do we know? Can we look that up?
Hopefully it breaks even.
Yeah,
you always feel bad. I mean, the biggest challenge for any movie film is to, in a small period of time, 2 hours, 3 hours, hour and a half, whatever the film length is, to cultivate, the plot, the villain, and make it a good one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, there's good ideas, and then there's good execution, and sometimes they just don't line up.
Some movies you get one, some movies you get the other, and in this case, neither, which is frustrating.
And Wonder Woman 1984, I actually just looked this up. Domestically, it made their total gross amount of money they earned was $46,530,000, and international they earned $119,559,000.
How much did that movie cost?
Worldwide, they made $166,089,000.
How much did it cost?
Warner Brothers were reported to have lost over $100 million.
Wow.
So that means that they literally paid $266 million for the creation of Wonder Woman 1984.
How embarrassing.
Well, and I mean, someone had to have watched it. They got to have people watch it and tell them if it flopped. Hey guys, this movie isn't good. And they could have used COVID as an excuse to push it back and take it back to the drawing board.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, let's say you're right about this whole plug at the end being it. The more I think about it, the more I like that thought. Because this movie, it just didn't do much for me. And imagine if they just kind of had a little pre-scene in front of the movie and then hopped into it. How many movies have we seen that happen and it works?
Yeah.
I mean, there's TV shows that do it that way.
The back and forth is the key to telling an actual story. And if I may go back to the beginning, Deadpool. You jump forward and backwards.
Oh, yeah.
You know when it's happening.
The Witcher.
And oh my God, The Witch. So reading the book, that helped a lot because in the series I was confused a bit. But the clarity that we got from that was so beautiful. And first off, I can't wait for season 2. But again, when you're storytelling, you need to make sure that you can present it without, all of those issues.
Yeah.
And in movies or series like The Witcher, WandaVision, Deadpool, and these big blockbuster #1 movies or series that you see, the reason why they're so great is they tell a story.
Yeah.
Casting is huge. CGI is getting bigger and bigger every day. The budgets are getting out of hand for CGI, but that's what the people want, right? They want the graphics.
Yeah.
But in the movies, if you can't tell a story, you will flop.
Yeah. Movies are literally just video games, but on screen. It literally is a dance, just like we said with video games. The story and the graphics need to be in line and dancing with each other to make a great harmony.
Yeah, well, and I mean, one of my coworkers, he got the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and so he recommended that. I got it at a discount, and I've been playing that a little bit. And a lot of the game, at least where I'm at in it, is cutscenes. It's heavy on the story. And that's what makes it good. Black Flag, that was probably one of the best liked Assassin's Creed games ever made.
And if we go back to Wonder Woman 1984, the people, let's just be honest, it is literally the people wanted to watch the movie because they were expecting a good Wonder Woman. To be honest, Gal Gadot, I think that's how you pronounce her name. A lot of the people say that she was one of the better Wonder Womans that we've ever gotten in the history of our show.
By far.
this movie, I feel like it wasn't her fault. I feel like it was scripting. I mean, the people loved the cast. The cast was a great cast. It just was that the script was not in line with how the cast was.
I want to end on Army of the Dead. I've been saving this one. So Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead came out on Netflix, and that movie did so many injustices to the world. I can't even begin where to start. Oh my hell! The acting is just rough. The storyline doesn't make sense. They're trying to pay homage to like 10 or 15 different movies. Absolute, just I don't know what he was smoking when they were directing that. I haven't had a lot of issues with Zack Snyder, but this movie was absolute shit. I don't know how bad it was. It was top 10 on Netflix for a while.
Yeah,
WWE
I'm like,
promoted it for weeks.
It was way popular from what I saw. But, shows like that where it's just like hype, I like to wait a while and actually let people watch it and see what their thoughts are before I
in fact, I'm going to look that up right now. I'm going to look up what their score is right now.
It was rated 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb. Yeah. And it had a 67% Rotten Tomato score.
Yep.
But the thing about Army of the Dead is I went and saw it myself. And I'll be honest, the story, it was hard to follow at first because it didn't really make sense what was happening. And as the movie got on, it continued not to make sense. And then, the nuke hitting and them living in a bank safe. I mean, bank safes I'm not going to lie, they're strong. But I mean, a nuclear bomb strong, especially considering this movie was made to be like in the same year as, I think it was 2024, wasn't it, Aaron? Or something like that?
Yeah, it's just...
What year was it?
There were so many inconsistencies. Yeah. My frustration was through the damn roof.
It was supposed to take place, and it was supposed to take place supposedly in 2004. And in 2004, to put in perspective, I mean, we had Fat Boy, the nuclear warhead that the U.S. used, In 2004, the nukes that we have, they are literally, they say, over 200 times as strong as the nuke that we used back then. Yet somehow he was in a bank vault that got hit by a nuke and lived. I mean, and then let alone he got hit by the nuke and then walked out of the nuclear area and was fine, didn't have any sort of radiation problems at all. I mean, the radiation itself would kill him just when he left the vault.
Yeah, I don't know the details on that. There's just a lot of inconsistencies, things that don't make sense. At the same time as well, yes, the governor was going to, the president was going to drop a bomb on Vegas. That part makes sense. The part I don't understand, I don't think it's a nuclear warhead, more of just big missile bomb kind of thing. I don't think we're trying to put radioactive shit, we're just trying to clear out the dead in this case.
They really said it secure ourselves in the movie, which is also another thing that didn't make sense. Because I mean, as you said, Aaron, why not just use a regular bomb?
Vegas is paradise. You know what I mean? Why the hell?
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest industry makers to the government is all the taxes and shit from Vegas. Vegas has a bit higher tax than Utah does.
Yeah. It's all the gambling.
Oh yeah. Gambling taxes.
Another thing that just doesn't make sense in that avenue is, I mean, sure, the movie was good, but the CGI, I mean, let's just be honest, the CGI was probably the best thing in the movie. I mean, the movie itself had
that tiger looked fucking cool. That tiger looked fucking...
The tiger looked badass. I mean, the blood and gore was on point.
I feel like it was excessive to an extent.
It was excessive to an extent,
but it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible. When you went into a movie like that, you sort of expect it to sort of be like that. And the thing that really just didn't make sense is originally they said they wanted a crew of 5 to go and get the money out of the vault. Wasn't that the case, Aaron?
Repeat the question. I apologize.
They said that they wanted a crew of 5 to go and get all the money out of the vault.
Yeah,
and split it 5 ways. And how many people did they end up getting? Wasn't it like 15 or 20? It felt like at the end, the point where they had to get a bus to take them all.
Well, no, a bus was just in their way to get in without
But,
being
I mean-
detected and shit because they weren't refugees. But
Yeah,
big props. Dave Bautista starred in this movie, right? And as you know, Dave Bautista, he plays Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy right now. He's done a couple different movies, I Spy. You know, he has a huge, iconic career within WWE. And, you know, I feel like he just was done dirty on this movie. His own commentary is where I want to end. But in his own words, he said, you know, I enjoyed working for Zack Snyder because there was a lot of creative freedom and we were able to, you know, do little things. You know, it wasn't as super strict and stuff. So I give credit to that. But at the same time, there was just so much wrong. You know what I mean? But again, would I watch that movie again if I had the chance? No. Did I enjoy the movie, though? I did. I enjoyed it enough to say that at least I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Dave Bautista's, you know, doing the best he could. He deserves better. He is a good actor. Is he at a Rock level or a John Cena level? Definitely not. But again, dude, he knows his shit. He's been doing it for a minute now, and he has volume. He just needs to find someone who can actually portray that on the screen. Exactly.
Yeah, he's definitely working his way up there to be right alongside them.
Exactly. So, with that said, that's the movies we want to cover today. I want to move on to the last segment, which is, you know, put a smile back on your face after we've destroyed your opinions on all these movies. We're going to move over to Meme of the Week. All right, Kurtis, what meme of the week do you have for us this week?
Well, I got a meme, and I think it sort of will fit most of the people that probably got a stimulus check in some avenue. And I think, Aaron, you said you want to put it on screen or not?
I was going to try to. I don't think I will.
Okay.
But we will post it.
So, sounds good. So, it's a photo of the government handing a check to a human saying, okay, here's $1,200. Now, the stimulus is to help you through this pandemic. And then it's a person walking over to a machine which has the Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox logo on it. Because I think all of us, I mean, let's just be honest, the new PlayStation, new Xbox, games on Steam and stuff like that. I mean, gaming was part of the reason why we got through the pandemic and how we got through the pandemic. And I think that's part of the thing that we used that 1,200 on.
Yeah,
that's fair. What'd you use your coronavirus check on, Buff?
Trying to think. Let's. I think I bought some of it went towards my TV.
That's right.
Yeah. Can't remember about the rest. You know, probably towards the car or something. I don't know.
The first coronavirus check that me and JC got, we got new phones because we were doing fine financially, this and that. The second coronavirus check was a little bit rougher. I was unemployed. You know, JC was doing the best she could, working full time, plus going to school full time. So I think what ended up happening was the second one just was helping us catch up on our rent and our debt.
Yeah.
But obviously now that, you know, we're past all that, we got all that shit figured out, you know, if I see something, I buy it at this point, you know. What do you think the stream people would like? All these freaking pops over here that I'm giving away? Absolutely. I think they'd love that shit.
Or maybe some of those Steam codes that you have for those games.
Yeah, or Steam codes. You know, we do so much, you know what I mean? But, you know, now that coronavirus is done, well, as done as it can be.
Yeah.
We're on cooldown. We're on respawn cooldown, baby.
Yeah, defrost.
Defrosting those tortillas. That. You know what I mean? So as we move on to that area, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to, you know, figure out some of those things that we haven't been able to enjoy as much. Yeah. And that's what I'm honestly looking forward to at the end of the day. You know, big future. Obviously, I need to pave a driveway.
Yeah.
Here soon. I'm thinking about just doing asphalt, bro. Asphalt or gravel or something cheaper to make it work.
Now, yeah.
Because the cement prices are ridiculous. Everything else is ridiculous. I mean,
Well, I mean, even wood, you accidentally get a sliver at Home Depot, and that's $50. You know what I mean? The wood, everything's going up right now.
absolutely. It's out of hand. It's out of hand. You got your meme for us, my brother?
Yeah. Which,
Let's do
this one?
the Disney one first, yeah.
All right. So the meme, it's about the potential child of Beauty and the Beast. So,
Is this the Disney one with Emma Watson?
yeah, Emma Watson, Belle, and the Beast.
Okay.
And then it shows a picture of Hermione Granger when she does the apologies potion and turns into like that
she turns into like a cat thing?
Yeah, the half cat thing, that hybrid.
Oh, no.
And, yep. And the caption on it, of course, is I shouldn't find this as funny as I do.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
It's almost like they couldn't get it more perfect.
Like, hey, man, love is blind. And, that's not my cup of tea. But if that shit's for you, man, live your best life. But
Hey, man.
That's rough. No pun intended. Sorry, rough. As far as that goes. So I have a meme, obviously. For those of you who don't know, I'm a big fan of the Doctor memes. They hit different, Yeah. So I'm going to be voice acting the patient in this act, and obviously Jimmy's going to be doing the doctor. So walk in, to the doctor's office, and so I'm going to go ahead and walk into the doctor's office. Hey, doc.
Yeah, what seems to be the problem?
Well, when I'm touching my shoulder, it hurts when I touch my shoulder.
Ah. All right. Yeah. Well, don't touch it. That'll be $60.
Take my damn money. I mean, some of the shit, it just drives me nuts, dude. Drives me nuts. Another funny doctor meme we have to end the show today. A couple of surgeons get out after performing a 12-hour surgery, and what's the first thing that this patient and the family does? Oh, thank God! The surgeon's like, I'm right here, asshole. That just tickles me different, man. I love that shit. Well, Kurtis, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today, man. I really appreciate your time. It sucks that we couldn't get you on cam. We'll figure that out, though. Hopefully, sometime around the next time we get you on. Where can people find you, man? Are you on social media? Where can people go to hear your wisdom?
Honestly, just join Aaron's Discord. I'm in here all the time, and if you guys ever need it, the Discord's public. You guys can just type in the Superhero Squad on Discord, and you guys should be able to find it. And I'll be in here hanging, and if you guys want to talk movies, I'm here, and you guys can come and talk.
Absolutely. Jimmy, where can the people see you? Where can they find you? Obviously, you're going to be co-hosting for a majority of the episodes that we're having on season 1, but...
Well, they can find me in heaven, because my life's just paradise. But, I think, I'll agree with Kurtis. I do hop on the Discord server when I can, I don't have my own, stuff, but, there. But I'm also on Instagram. My handle is Linum Time. So yeah, good stuff. I'm happy to be on the show. Hope you guys have enjoyed some of our discussions, and again, throw in some comments. Give us what you want to hear about next time.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for those of you who tuned in to watch this live. I appreciate that. All of our videos will be uploaded to potentially YouTube. A lot of them are going to Patreon, so you guys can see the actual video. The podcast right now is on podbean.com. We are working right now with Apple to get it uploaded there on the Apple Podcast. In addition, you can also find us here in the next couple days on Spotify, guys. We appreciate your time and going over these controversial topics. What movies didn't we go over? What do you guys want to see next time or hear us talk about? What movies do you want us to see? Everything that we do in regards to the podcast as well as the Twitch channel and funding goes right back into the content. So we guys appreciate y'all, and we hope y'all have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. And thanks so much for your time. We'll see you next week. I think